This is pretty boring. I thought I'd be able to have a little bit more fun with you. Any more of this would be a waste of our time. Let us bring matters to a close. See you, inmate! You're wide open. Down. Come on, you gotta hold on!
The good old scripted loss, a boss fight where you have no chance at all of winning, either due to a hidden mechanic protecting the boss, or just placing you against a foe so powerful that you are crushed in a couple of hits. No matter how a game goes about it, the point remains the same. You were not strong enough. You lose. At least for the moment. Today I want to talk about how RPGs in particular, as you do see variations on this trope in other genres, utilize scripted loss to help tell a story and really cement a specific moment. Basically, I want to ask the question, do scripted losses in video games work? Are they an effective storytelling mechanic for RPGs, or just another video game cliche that should fall by the wayside? Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Ursa. As much as I consider myself an RPG fan, I know I haven't played them all, and I'm sure to have missed someone's favorite. Apologies up front, but know that I'm always eager to experience both new and old games, so please feel free to share your experiences in the comments. I will warn of potential spoilers, but these aren't full story analyses, so you should mostly be safe. The earliest example I remember is from the famous franchise Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy II is probably not most people's favorite game in the series due to some of the systems unique to it, but it is still a foundational RPG that helped shape a lot of the future to come. Final Fantasy II opens the game with the party being attacked by enemy soldiers raising the countryside. You will quickly realize that you are outmatched as the enemies pick off your party one by one. This is obviously not the end for the heroes as the game just started, but it sets the tone right away that you are not strong enough to take on this empire. This is a great way to feed into the rebel plot of the main game. Square could have told the same story with a cutscene, but by allowing the player the agency to try and win, they managed to utilize the interactivity of video games. It was a novel idea at the time, and I would love to hear anyone's experiences that played it back in the day. What did you think when the party wiped? Did you panic, or stoically wait to see what happened next? This isn't the last time today we'll talk about Final Fantasy, so let's not dwell on this particular relic any longer. We will skip ahead a few years to talk about another big example of scripted loss. This one comes from one of my personal favorites, and possibly one of the greatest games of all time, Chrono Trigger. In Chrono Trigger, the party travels through multiple time periods, all in an attempt to prevent the end of the world caused by a creature named Lavos. There is so much more to it than that, but please go play this game if you haven't and find out for yourself. There comes a point in the game where you have been playing for several hours and are seemingly close to discovering the origins of this mighty foe. This leads to a boss battle at the end of a pretty challenging dungeon that sees the party facing down Lavos in all of its terrible fury. This is a scripted battle and leads to a pretty pivotal death that will drive the next several hours of the story. This may seem like just another attempt to use the in-game battle system to sell a cutscene, and it is, but what if I told you that there is another outcome? Chrono Trigger was famous for being a pioneer of the New Game Plus system. This would see you starting the story over, but retaining all of your experience levels and equipment from a previously completed playthrough. You are still limited by party options until you eventually meet them all in the story, but this allowed players to crush certain challenges with an overpowered party. Chrono Trigger also pioneered another concept that still sees wide usage, and that was multiple endings. So how does this relate? Well, if you happen to have a party strong enough, and they do need to be quite powerful as this is possibly the strongest and most aggressive version of Lavos, then you can actually push through and win this scripted battle. This will lead to possibly the most unique ending, but I won't spoil that reward here. So with these examples provided, let's try to answer my question from earlier. Are scripted losses effective as an RPG storytelling mechanic? I think the best answer is that they can be. I believe that the opening battle of Final Fantasy II was a good example. Not only did this one exist as a bit of a preview into the battle system, but also reinforced the underdog status of the main party. In FF1, you were up against great odds, but typically had the support of the world around you in your quest. FF2 reversed this, at least at the beginning. Another example that I am unsure of occurs in Final Fantasy IX. I told you there was another one coming. It is the party's first battle against General Beatrix. This is an opponent who has been hyped up quite a bit leading to this moment, and when the fight starts, it's not immediately apparent that it will be a scripted loss. One of the ways that this mechanic had evolved at this point in time was to follow the Chrono Trigger example and allow players to be able to actually win the fight by doing enough damage to trigger a reaction or cutscene. In this particular battle, you will either get wiped out by the boss, or after causing enough damage, see her use a powerful move that reduces the entire party to 1 HP, ending the battle. This one is reinforced by the following dialogue and story, backing up that the party was defeated and even spent a few moments unresponsive. Do you think this was a good usage of scripted loss? I have genuinely mixed emotions here. On one hand, it does fit with the story and what has been told about General Beatrix, but on the other, I always feel cheated when I have a strong party and then a boss can just cutscene me like that. Am I supposed to feel humbled or enticed to get revenge? And I think that cuts right to the heart of why scripted loss has been used throughout the years in video games. The developers want us to feel something at that moment. It was never supposed to be about the actual battle and whether you win or lose, but the emotions that loss can invoke. With the massive audience video games have, there are bound to be a multitude of reactions out there. As graphics improved over the years and enabled developers to be able to more effectively tell the visual side of the story, it seems this mechanic has fallen out of favor. This does make sense, as most games can utilize the better graphics for pre-rendered cinematics as opposed to in-engine limitations. However, it can also create a dissonance between you handing a boss an L and then promptly having it returned to you in a cutscene. So to summarize a bit, I think that we should say that scripted loss is an effective storytelling tool in video games. While some do feel cheap and undeserved, at the end of the day they made you feel something. That's got to be at least part of the reason we play, right? Apologies if this one got a bit rambly. These are the kind of things I've always considered about video games and the design philosophies behind them. If you stuck around this long, please consider commenting some of your experiences or thoughts on scripted loss down below and let's discuss. Subscribe if you want to see more videos. As always, I appreciate any and all of your time. Until the next one, take care.